What's up, Internet? So today we're gonna do an After Effects quick tip for you guys. You see all these things tracked into the scene? It took me like 2 minutes to put together with the camera tracker, but a little trick involved too. So let's go over that right now. You ready? Let's do this. Okay, so first things first, take your footage and drop it into a new composition, like I did. And what we're gonna do is we're going to use the camera tracker and track our footage. So select your footage, hit track camera, and now it's gonna analyze in the background. Now we have a few different options for doing this. We can either point track it, or you can kick it out to Mocha and track it. That'll give you a great result, or you can personally keyframe it, each and every frame, and that's just a nightmare, don't do that. So the other option is to track your camera. So when you camera track something, you have to actually have a 3D layer. Anything you track into the scene needs to be 3D. And if I, for instance, wanted to drop this monster of a animal, look at how frightening that is. If I want to say track him into the shot, I have to actually make it a 3D layer. But the issue, which I'll get to in a moment, once this is done solving. Okay, so now that it's done solving, I can create a new camera. If you select your plugin there, you can select some points, right click, and create null and camera. So now our scene is 3D tracked. We have a null object in the scene, but it's a 3D null object. So if I was to pull in this footage of this crazy, terrible wolf and try to track it to that.
I totally saw that.
All right, moving on. If I take our layer and track it to this 3D null object, it's not gonna actually do anything because it's a 2D layer linked to a 3D null object. So what we need to do is actually convert that 3D null into a 2D null. And so this is what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna name our 3D null object. Just call it 3D null because I'm super original. Go to Layer, New, Null Object. And this is a 2D null object, but you can't just link that to the 3D null object either. So I'm gonna hit P to pull down the position. If you hold down the Alt button and then click the stopwatch, delete that text there, and pick whip this expression to your 3D null object. And that basically just identifies it. It gives it the name. And now this is where you have to actually be really specific in how you type this next part out. Hit period, 2, capital C for comp, and then open parentheses, open bracket. That's not a bracket, this is a bracket. 0, 0, 0, close bracket, close parentheses, enter. Now it's a 2D null, tracked into the scene, you see that? And now we can literally just turn off our other null. Don't delete it, and don't double click on it. So now we can take our image here and link it to the null object, which I'm going to call 2D null. Gotta be organized, man, be organized. Hey, look at that, now it's tracked into the shot. It's amazing, and that was super easy to do. There is a huge downside to this tip, and that is the fact that it does not take into account rotation and scale. So if you need those, you're gonna need to actually make sure it's tracked properly. But if it's just a simple pan or something and you want something tracked into the background, for instance, because there's parallax in this shot, I can track it something to the ground here. Right click, create null, and change the name of this 2D one where it says 3D null. I'm going to make it source the other null, which I called capital null. And now it's tracked to the ground here. And I can do the same thing if I made a null for the background. It's great. If you like these kind of quick tip tutorials, maybe we can do some more. If you have any other ideas for things you want to do, send me your ideas. I want to hear them. And until next time. Hey. You got my...